pay attention because this one is a bit weird, and there are a ton of scams that are stemming out of all this, and I'm sure we've all seen them. In fact, I was watching March Madness this week and saw commercials for the Camp Lejeune water contamination. So let's just dive straight into how the VA wants their money back. And yes, the VA will be taking their money back, FYI. If you've been receiving VA disability compensation for disabilities connected to the Camp Lejeune water stuff, then yes, the court-awarded amount of compensation will be offset by your VA disability compensation. As with all things with VA disability, there isn't a cookie-cutter answer, and this especially applies in this scenario. So if you just started receiving compensation for the conditions covered under the Camp Lejeune water stuff, okay, the Camp Lejeune Justice Act, then the damage wouldn't be too bad. In fact, it would probably be still in your favor. But if you've been receiving compensation for 10 years or so, all right, then that might be a different story. So I'm going to show you exactly where the VA says that if you've been receiving VA benefits, specifically compensation, then yes, the VA will get their money back, all right? So here is, and I'm going to have this link down below in the pinned comment, but the Camp Lejeune water contamination. It says know your options. It goes into scams and all this stuff. And we'll get more into Camp Lejeune, the time criteria and the conditions covered. But what I want to really show you is this right here, which is what you came here for, right? The frequently asked question is, will my court-awarded relief from filing a lawsuit be impacted by VA benefits and services I already received? That part is key there. And the VA starts out with yes, potentially. I absolutely hate how the VA is just ambiguous on anything or on everything. Now this, I do understand it. There's got to be better ways to explain without saying yes, potentially. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. I'm just going to read this straight verbatim, okay? If you already receive VA benefits or services, and it says disability pay or healthcare services for conditions related to the contaminated water at Camp Lejeune, and we'll get into what those are, the court-awarded relief will be offset by the amount of any disability award, payment, or other benefit VA provided to you related to your exposure at Camp Lejeune. So not just VA compensation benefits, but healthcare services as well. I'm not sure how they would equate for that personally, but as you see here, it will be accounted for. Now, disability pay is probably what everyone is going to be paying close attention to. Now, since we're here, we'll just go ahead and talk about scams. So here, I've heard scammers are taking advantage of Camp Lejeune Justice Act, that CLJA, to commit fraud. How can I avoid these fraudsters? So just with all presumptive conditions, you don't need anyone to help you file the claim outside of a VSO. You don't even need a VSO. Now, I definitely strongly recommend that for presumptive conditions, but all you need is to meet the time criteria and have a current diagnosis. And that's really what we're going to get into with this Camp Lejeune water stuff. All right. Now it is on this form, but I'm also going to show you this link, and I'm going to have this pinned in the comments as well, because it's very black and white, plain as day. We're on va.gov for Camp Lejeune water contamination health issues. And here we go. Here are your time criteria. So if you served at either of these locations, so it's not just Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune, but it's also Marine Corps Air Station New River. Both are in North Carolina. They're side by side, and I'll show you a map of where they are at, okay? And the VA will tell you the contaminated place that you had to serve in for 30 days. So between August 1st of 1953 and December 31st of 1987. So we're definitely talking to our older veterans now. If you know an older veteran that did serve in Camp Lejeune or New River, share this video with them. They need to know. So if you served between that time criteria for at least 30 days, okay, so not just a field op, a week or two, it's got to be for at least 30 days total. So it doesn't have to be consecutive, just total from August 1st to December 31st. 1st, right, of 53 and 87. And of course, you have an honorable, or you don't have a dishonorable discharge. That's the criteria. And of the presumptive conditions, you need a diagnosis. That is most important, right? So adult leukemia, anemia, I'm not even going to try to say that, okay? But that's a part of it. Bladder cancer, kidney cancer, so multiples, all right? Liver cancer, multiple myeloma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and then Parkinson's disease, okay? So if you have a current diagnosis of any of these, and you served at Camp Lejeune or New River between August 1st, 53 and December 31st of 87 for a total of 30 days, and you didn't receive a dishonorable discharge, go ahead and submit the claim. You don't have to hire a lawyer. You don't have to do any of that, okay? Now, filing a lawsuit for the Camp Lejeune Justice Act, that's completely different. You can go ahead and do that. But if you are receiving benefits for any of these right now, right? So let's say I'm an older dude, respectfully, and I have kidney cancer that was connected 2 years ago, and I've been receiving benefits for my kidney cancer. That VA compensation will be taken into account for whenever I get my court awarded relief. It doesn't mean my kidney cancer is going away or my VA compensation for kidney cancer is going away. It's not. It'll stay the same. There's going to be no change to your VA disability benefit compensation. But what the VA is saying is that it will be taken into account when it comes to the amount of relief that you are awarded by the court. All right, the court awarded relief will be offset by the amount of any disability award payment or other benefits VA provided to you related to your exposure at Camp Lejeune. So there you go. Right, your benefits are not going anywhere. But if that is you need to submit the claim. Now let's talk about presumptive conditions, because these are extremely easy, and all you need to do is meet the criteria for the presumptive condition and have a diagnosis, right? So in this case, for Camp Lejeune, it's the time criteria being on Camp Lejeune for more than 30 days from August 1 to December 31 of those years, right? So if you've been 30 days within that time frame, you're good to go for that check mark. Okay, that's 1. 2, which is most important, you need the diagnosis of those conditions that we discussed. As long as you have the diagnosis and you meet the criteria, then the claim becomes extremely easy. Now, there isn't such thing as a Camp Lejeune claim or a PACT Act claim. It's just a standard claim. All right. If you've been denied, then it's an appeal. And in this case, it would probably be a supplemental appeal, most likely. And you still don't need a lawyer for that whatsoever. Have the diagnosis, meet the time criteria, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right. The VA will do VA stuff, meaning they know that you were at Camp Lejeune. It's our job to submit the evidence-based claims, especially for presumptive conditions. Now, what I want to do is show you the map. I'll make myself small there. I want to show you the map because the VA gives us a map, right? So if you're confused as to Camp Lejeune, let me zoom in here a little bit as to where this would be. Here it is right here. So in the green, we have benefit coverage. So if you spent 30 days in the green, doesn't mean you have to live there, okay? But if you're on Camp Lejeune in the green areas for a total of 30 days between those two dates, then there we go. If you were, on the outskirts of Lejeune for 40 days and for whatever reason you're only there for that and you never really entered into the benefit coverage zone, that wouldn't count. I really don't see how that would even be an option, to be honest with you, if you are dealing with the Marine Corps in any capacity, even as an other service member doing training at Camp Lejeune, because Verona Loop is also included in this, right? But that's it.